G'day guys, been a while, but I'm back. Another video, diet related video this time, and it's responding to this video called What I Eat in a Day, Training for an Ironman Triathlon. It's by Lachlan Earnshaw. The reason why I'm responding to this video in particular, because it was from 6 months ago, is that it sparked up a bit of controversy recently. Lachlan found out he had diabetes about a month ago. He's totally changed his diet. He's now onto a low carb thing. I'm not going to get into any of that. What I want to do is go back to this video, What I Eat in a Day, Training for an Ironman Triathlon. We're going to go through it, break down everything he ate, and then we're going to actually go through and see how could he have improved that day of eating, what was wrong, what could he have done better, and actually go meal by meal and totally change the diet. Thanks to Lachlan for actually leaving this video up because he does not eat like this anymore, but he has, respect to him, left the video up, which is awesome, so we can all go and learn from it. So let's get into it. What training did he do on this day and what did he eat?
So this morning I had a 2-hour bike ride, and because it was all aerobic, I didn't eat anything before the bike ride. I just basically got up, had a coffee and jumped straight on the bike.
So he woke up, started his ride fasted at 6:30 a.m. I'm not going to go into the fasted thing in this video. I'm going to stick to the food he's eating. So he did 2 hours at 173 watts, which for him was in zone 2. This ride burnt about 1,200 calories. That's a calorie burn for this ride. He didn't consume anything before or during this ride.
Which is what I'm about to eat right now. After the ride is a Biscoff sandwich. So nice layer of Biscoff, which is essentially just a Nutella replacement. So yeah, first thing I'm eating today, a bit of Biscoff on toast. And I'll probably have some cereal with this after as well. All right, toast is done. I'm now gonna have some Nutri-Grain. I don't know if they have this in other countries, but it's basically just like a sugary cereal that they have here in Australia. Now I do drink a ton of soy milk just because I prefer the flavor, not because of any like dairy restrictions or anything like that. But I drink like 1.5 liters of this stuff a day. It's great. Now it's gonna be interesting because I don't exactly feel like I have breakfast, lunch and dinner kind of meals. I just tend to eat basically all day. So not sure how I'm going to break it up in terms of this is what I'm having for this meal and this meal and this meal. I'm probably just going to show all the food I eat throughout the day gradually.
So that's essentially his breakfast, post-ride meal and breakfast combined. So we've got the toast with Biscoff, we've got the Nutri-Grain with the soy milk, and it looks like about a glass of orange juice. I've put the calories up as we go along so you can see the macronutrient and the calorie breakdown of each meal. That's his breakfast. That's about 9 a.m. 10:30 a.m. he gets onto his first snack of the day. Let's see what he has.
Now I'm just having some raisin toast. You'll probably see today on a normal day, I think I average like 6 to 8 slices of bread, so fair bit of bread. So just about to go to the pool for a quick 2K sort of easy swim really. Alright, so it turns out the pool was shut just because there was a swimming carnival on today, so I just went straight to the gym and had a sauna.
So coming up to lunchtime, as you can probably see, it's going to be a trend throughout this video. He's almost had nothing nutritious, unfortunately. Hardly any fruit, really limited whole grain, so almost nothing with a high nutrient value. But let's get on to lunch and see if it improves from here on out.
But anyway, next meal now, we're gonna have some instant noodles, and I'm actually gonna make it 2 packets of instant noodles. After the noodles, I'm going to have some of these hot cross buns. I don't know if they have them in other countries, but they're basically just little lumps of bread. So again, bread is going to make up a huge portion of my diet. Because it's cheap. Okay, 2 o'clock now, and another classic meal for me is cornflakes. So nice bowl of cornflakes. Again, you can buy like a whole 890 gram pack of this stuff for like $5. So very cheap fuel. And this is the soy milk I started with this morning. So I suppose a typical day, I'd probably have like 3 bowls of cereal a day. I'll have a breakfast one in the afternoon, and then typically one after dinner before bed. So this is bowl number 2. So that's our first liter of soy milk done for the day.
All right, that's lunch and afternoon snack. 2 more, it's hard to really call them meals, but 2 more snacks throughout the day. He's going to get onto his next training session of the day.
All right, Thursday afternoon now, I've got to run. It's probably going to be about 20K with 15K at Ironman effort. Leading into this one, just had 2 more slices of raisin toast. and that takes us up to 6 slices of bread for the day so far. Really one of the more important sessions I do throughout the week, and I just wanted to stay really locked into the pace.
So that was the run there. It was actually more intense than the morning's bike ride. I estimated for him it was in somewhere between zone 3 and lower zone 4 in a 6-zone model, 1.5 hours. That burnt probably around 1,600 calories if I had to estimate it. I'm not experienced with estimating calorie burn for running like I am with cycling. I'm a road cycling coach. So about 1,600 calories is what I used in my calculations for his day. Let's get on to dinner.
So yeah, straight after the run, I ate a few of these like red lollies just while I was cooking dinner. Also filled up a nice big water bottle, put some green cordial in it just for some sugar.
So I'll just pause that there. That's actually not a sugared cordial. That's a Diet Right sugar-free cordial. So there shouldn't be any calories or any sugar in that green cordial there.
Dinner, we've got chicken, veggies and salad. So just some chicken, sweet potato and some salad. So with dinner, having some bread and butter as well, which takes our total bread tally up to 8 slices for the day. About an hour after dinner, another bowl of cornflakes, and for dessert, a bowl of ice cream.
So that's his entire day of training and eating. I've loaded this all into Chronometer. I've tried to do this as accurately as possible. So this is it all here. You can pause and dig through there if you can. I've put in all the spreads, all the bits of spread he's put on all the toast and everything I could find. So this should be pretty accurate. Now he's burned about 5,300 calories. He's consumed about 5,900 calories. That's the macronutrient breakdown here. But what I wanted to show you is that if you only looked at the macronutrient and the micronutrient breakdown, and you hadn't seen what this day of eating actually was, you'd probably think it's pretty good. He's hit all the vitamin targets besides vitamin K. He's hit all the mineral targets besides zinc. He's hit the protein target, so 200 grams of protein. That's more than 2 grams per kilogram of body weight, so easily above the protein requirements. And a mix of fat and carbohydrates, which people will prefer different ratios of those. But the calories overall, it is a bit over, but maybe there's a bit of error in the estimation there. But overall, if you just looked at this, you might think that's pretty good. But obviously, as we can see from the actual food he was eating, that's not a healthy way to eat. I think we can all agree on that. So let's go into look at what was wrong with the actual food he was eating in this day. First issue, probably the highest ranked one, is just a complete lack of fruits and vegetables. I counted 1 banana, so 1 serve of fruit, and in that small salad at dinner, maybe 2 serves of vegetables. There were some raisins in the raisin toast. I'm not going to count that. So really, to be consuming 5,000 plus calories and only be getting 1 serve of fruit and 2 serves of vegetables is really quite bad. That's really, really bad. We can all agree on that one. Next one, lack of well-rounded main meals. As you probably noticed, he's almost having no complete main meals. Almost every meal or snack he eats is incomplete nutritionally, and then he's constantly snacking throughout the day, so that is an issue to eating a healthy diet. Next one, inadequately fueled training. Now, I'm going to take the fasted versus non-fasted training discussion out of this, and we're just going to run on the assumption that because most people, especially if they're doing road cycling, will be doing all their rides pretty much fueled or eating for their rides and not purposefully doing a fasted training. So inadequately fueled training pre, during, and post is an issue in this day of eating. And then the final one is just too many non-nutritive fat and carbohydrate calories. There is just so much food and calories consumed in this day of eating that don't really have anything nutritionally beneficial in them. So for example, I added up all the vegetable fat consumed from the soy milk and the spreads. So the Nuttelex he's putting on the toast, and then the vegetable oil that's added into the soy milk, because it wasn't a reduced fat soy milk, it was a regular fat soy milk. Adding all those up just in this one day, he's having 120 grams of fat just from added oils in the foods. And those oils don't really add anything nutritionally. They're just fat calories with nothing nutritious on them. And that's the same applies for the non-nutritive carbohydrates he's having in some of the meals too. So that's probably the 4th main issue with the diet. So we're going to actually go through meal by meal and improve this diet, but the goal is to not entirely change everything he's eating. So generally when you'll go and see a dietitian, they will get you to do a 3-day food recall, and then they'll do swaps or additions to your current diet. They're not going to tell you to just entirely change every meal. People have habits, they have foods they like, and that's the challenge. So how can we improve Lachlan's diet, his day of eating here, keeping some of the same food groups and not entirely changing it? Let's get into it. So 6:30 a.m. he wakes up. What we're going to do is take that post-ride Biscoff toast he had, we're going to move it to pre-ride, and within 15 minutes of the session. So timing with food is important. We don't want this to be a breakfast. We want this to be a pre-ride snack. So we're going to take the Biscoff toast, move it to pre-ride. Then we're going to remove the Biscoff because it's just sugar and vegetable oil. There's just nothing healthy in Biscoff. And we're just going to swap it for natural peanut butter. That shouldn't be too much of an ask. And then we're also going to add in a serving of fruit. So we're going to cut some banana and put that on the toast. So you've pretty much got the same base snack. We've just added in a serve of fruit and swapped the Biscoff for a healthier natural peanut butter. And that's going to be the pre-ride snack. He's going to go into his 2-hour endurance ride. Now, because we're assuming the person doing this training is fueling their training, we're going to add the carbohydrates from one of Lachlan's afternoon snacks. You know, one of those pieces, 2 pieces of toast that he was eating at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We're going to take that 40, 50 grams of carbs and we're going to move it into the session. And you can do that through pretty much anything. It could be gels, it could be sports drink or sugar water. It could be another piece of fruit. It could be banana, nice ripe banana, dried fruit, anything to get that 40, 50 grams of carbs into this 2-hour ride. That's it. The reason why the pre-ride snack and the fueling during the training is so important isn't just for the quality of the training session. It's for calorie management throughout the day. Remember, that ride burnt about 1,200 calories. So he woke up, walked around the house, did a 1,200 calorie ride. By the time he finishes that ride, he could already be in a 1,400 or 1,500 calorie deficit before he's even had breakfast. And that's very difficult to manage appetite-wise, and that's probably one of the big reasons why he's snacking all day is because in his calorie deficit throughout the day, he's digging this massive hole at breakfast. So just having the pre-ride snack and fueling the training isn't just going to result in better training, it's going to result in much easier appetite management throughout the rest of the day. So it's 9 a.m., he's had his shower, he's finished his ride. Let's have a look at this breakfast. Now, he was having the Nutri-Grain, so we're going to keep that in. We're not going to scrap that. You could change that to oats and try and get something healthier, but we're going to try and work with what we've got. So we're going to keep the Nutri-Grain. I think it can be added as part of a healthy meal, but we're going to swap the regular soy milk for a low-fat soy milk. So you just basically, it's the same amount of protein, it's the same amount of carbohydrates, you're just taking out that vegetable oil, so you're reducing some of that empty fat calories. So Nutri-Grain with low-fat soy milk. He had a glass of orange juice with his breakfast on that day of eating. We're going to remove that, and we're just going to eat an orange. So swap the orange juice for an orange. There you go, plus 1 serve of fruit. A fruit juice, I don't know what a dietitian would say. I think actually a glass of fruit juice technically counts as a serve of fruit, but I don't think a reconstituted, sitting on the shelf for 6 months at the supermarket orange juice counts as a serve of fruit. I'm just putting it out there. So we're going to swap the orange juice, crappy nutrient deficient orange juice, for just an orange. That's that there. And then we're also going to make this a complete meal by adding more protein. So could add some low-fat Greek yogurt with some blueberries and a sprinkle of honey. So instead of just having a bowl of Nutri-Grain with fatty soy milk, you've now got a balanced meal. You've got the carbohydrates, you've got more protein, and you've got fruit. And so you're having that at 9 a.m. It's a more well-rounded meal. And then what this is going to mean is we're removing that snack. At 10:30, he had the 2 pieces of raisin toast with the margarine. So in this updated day of eating, with this bigger, well-rounded breakfast, we can just ideally remove that 10:30 snack and he can just work his way straight into lunch. So 12 o'clock on this day, he had that banana and then he went to the pool and the pool was closed. We can keep the banana in. I don't mind having the banana as a bit of a pre-lunch snack. So maybe 12 o'clock, he has the banana and he has that, does some work, and just before he starts prepping his lunch. So let's get into lunch. For lunch, he had the migraine. For those that don't know, that's instant noodles with a sort of oriental flavor sachet. What he could do is keep that. Let's keep the noodles as a base of a meal. Noodles on its own isn't a meal. So let's keep that as a base of a meal. And we're actually going to increase the size of this meal. So he only had 2 packets of that migraine. With this much training he's doing, he should be having a bigger lunch. So we're going to increase that to 3 packets of mee goreng. But what I would do, again, to make this a properly balanced meal, we're going to add in protein. So he could chop up some tofu, fry that in a pan just with no oil, just dry on the pan just to heat it up, get it nice and brown, and drop that in. That's the protein source onto the noodles. And then adding vegetables, should definitely be having vegetables at lunch. So he could just boil off some broccoli and some bok choy as some greens, and that's your meal. So you're having, instead of just plain noodles, you've still got your noodles, but you've then got a protein source and vegetables and much more filling. That should take him far further into the afternoon. And he can then remove the 2 fruit-free hot cross buns he had. So remember, he was having the 2 packets of noodles and the hot cross buns. With a proper balanced meal, he can just remove those hot cross buns completely. He shouldn't need to have them with this updated lunch. Then it gets to 2 o'clock, 2:30. In the original video, he had cornflakes and the soy milk. Now, with a big lunch, it's questionable whether he's gonna need this snack. But the cornflakes with the soy milk, I think, is a better pre-run, pre-training snack. Not a meal. It's not a meal. It's a snack. So what I would do is take that and I'd move that directly before his evening run, which he did at 5 o'clock. So I would swap the full-fat soy milk just to light soy milk, and then move that to about 4:30, 4:45. Have that as a little pre-run snack so that his run's then fueled. So then if he wants a snack around the 2:30 p.m. mark, instead of having that 2 pieces of raisin toast with margarine again, get rid of that. And what he can have is a healthier, more balanced afternoon snack. So there's recipes everywhere for this sort of thing. So it's a snack. He's looking for carbohydrates, protein, and then there's just another chance to get in some healthier food. So some either more fruit, maybe some nuts. This was a recipe on the Sports Dietitians Australia website. So a power nutrient banana loaf. He could make that, keep it in the fridge or the freezer, and have this 2:30. Have a slice of this 2:30, 3 o'clock as an afternoon snack. He can then maybe make a tea, have a tea with it, slice of the banana loaf, and maybe even, again, a bit more Greek yogurt, little serve of yogurt for a bit more protein. And then, yeah, instead of having raisin toast and margarine, it's a more balanced afternoon snack. And that could carry him into the pre-run snack, which, as I said, could be that cornflake. So we're keeping the cornflakes in, we're just moving it to a more appropriate time. 5 o'clock, he goes for his hour-and-a-half run. I would say same story with the ride. It didn't look like he ate anything during this run. I would say fuel the run with some carbohydrates, could be a gel or 2, something coming in to keep energy coming in throughout the run. And again, similar with the breakfast, the reason why that is so helpful is that just removes the hunger that's going to come on from 7 p.m. onwards. If he does that entire hour-and-a-half run fasted, how is he going to stay satiated through post-dinner dessert time? It's going to be very difficult. So the fueling can really help with that. And then obviously there's the direct benefit of the quality of the actual training session. So 7 p.m, he gets back from his run. He's starting to cook his dinner. He had 6 red lollies. Now that's just totally devoid of anything nutritious. It's just an easy way to get in more nutrients. So I would have something like an Up and Go. Doesn't need to be a big recovery drink or recovery shake, but an Up and Go, for those that aren't in Australia, is a little sort of breakfast drink. It's basically protein, carbs, and it's also fortified with a bunch of vitamins and minerals. So it can be really useful for someone who's in a heavy training load to get a bit more nutrition in, and then it's good after exercise because it does have protein and carbs in it. So I would just have an Up and Go when you get back before cooking dinner, and just to tide you through. So his dinner was clearly the most nutritious meal of his day. I'd keep that the same. I'd just increase the portion size of that meal. Chicken was okay. I'd try and have more sweet potato if possible, and salad, again, more if possible. Just increase the size of that dinner. It was actually quite small for someone doing his amount of training. On the back end of that dinner, he also had the 2 slices of wholemeal bread with the margarine. If he needs the calories, he's done an hour-and-a-half run an Ironman pace. He's done and a 2-hour endurance ride in the morning. It's a lot of training. So I think there's room for the 2 slices of wholemeal bread with a bit of margarine. I think with dinner, as a part of the meal, that could be a good way to get in some extra calories because, yeah, he's having to eat 5,000 plus calories. He's going to need some easier to digest, some simple foods that are appetizing. So I don't necessarily have a problem with the wholemeal bread and margarine at this meal. Then we get to 8 p.m. So with the training being fueled and the bigger serving size at dinner, ideally he's not as hungry late in the day, so he doesn't need to have another bowl of cornflakes with more of the full-fat soy milk. So ideally this could just be removed altogether. But if he's still hungry and has calories to make up, if it's a heavier training load day, I would, again, just swap the cornflakes and soy milk for a more nutritious whole grain option. So instead of having cornflakes and soy milk, you could make up some porridge with some oats. Drop some fruit in there, some frozen blueberries. Drop a little bit of a seed mix in there for some seeds or some nuts. Make that a more well-balanced meal as opposed to just cornflakes. So that could be an easy swap if he needs it to make up the calories after dinner, if it's a heavy training load day. And then for dessert, he had vanilla ice cream. I wouldn't really make any changes to this. He's burning 5,000 calories a day. The guy can have some ice cream at night for dessert. I would leave that in, no problems there. And that's the full day of eating. That's the changes I would recommend making to the original diet. Let's just do a quick recap. Why is that improving his diet overall? Let's run through it and break it down. So with the updated diet, he's getting at least 5 more serves of fruit. He's getting at least 4 more serves of vegetables. The main meals are lower GI, higher protein, more nutritious, and more satiating, reducing the reliance on snacks. The better fueled training, and that doesn't just mean what he's eating during the session. Better fueled training really means pre, during, and post-training session. Having that improved will not only lead to, higher quality training and lower RPE throughout the sessions, but also better recovery and better appetite management throughout the day to make the diet more sustainable. The new diet means he's getting in a lot less non-nutritive fats and carbohydrates. A lot of them have been swapped out. And the final thing about this updated diet is it's not extreme at all. This is, correct me if I'm wrong, that's compliant with every sports dietitian guidelines. Very non-extreme, very well-rounded. So you can eat healthily without going to some big super low fat or super low carbohydrate diet. It's just taking the diet that, in this case, Lachlan was eating or you might be eating currently, and then just looking for little changes to every meal to make the entire diet well-rounded and not trying to reinvent the wheel and flip everything on its head. That is it for this video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it, got something out of it, and I'll catch you in the next one.